beautiful. Brittany Hammond here, founder of Untamed Productions and the Brand Interrupted podcast. Thank you so much for signing up for this waitlist for the 6-week creative and intimate mentorship program, Rebel, Reclaim, Reconnect, and Reinvent. So you're going to be receiving a welcome email from me, and I just wanted to take a minute to talk about some of the core fears that can come up when we put ourselves out there. And in my own business, I have really taken a holistic approach to branding because I believe that the more we can reconnect to ourselves and love ourselves and own who we are and our gifts and talents, the more we have the confidence to put ourselves out there. And I find a lot of the times when people are saying, just do it, just go live, just put yourself out there. If that for you is a trauma wound, if that feels dangerous, then more chances than not, you're not going to put yourself out there. And I won't go too much into my story, but this was my story. For me, putting myself out there was dangerous. And I want to share 2 kind of core wounds or deep-rooted wounds that I find people don't often address. There's a lot of encouragement going on around there, and yes, practice makes perfect, but if you have 1 or 2 of these core wounds, then your subconscious is going to keep you safe, and you're not, even with willpower, you're not going to be able to just force yourself to show up and do the necessary actions in your business. So the first wound is the fear of public attack, scrutiny, or embarrassment. And this can happen even if you have a micro trauma growing up, like whether it be bullying at school, or maybe you had a narcissistic parent or a parent that just wasn't emotionally there for you and you constantly felt invalidated. And so for you, showing up is dangerous because the people around you, maybe it be your audience, your potential clients, your customers, like they might not support you. And there really is a downfall to putting yourself out there publicly and being a thought leader and being a leader or an expert in your field, is that you are open to this type of reaction. And so the solution is not to hide. The solution is to have the tools and to cultivate that inner confidence so that you can put yourself out there and feel safe and whole within. The second core fear, and this one isn't talked about that often, and it's a fear of indifference. You fear that you're not important enough to make a difference, or what you have to say doesn't matter, or that no one cares. Maybe you've fallen into that trap where you put something up on Facebook and you don't get any likes, and then it confirms that core belief that no one cares what I have to say, no one sees me, no one feels me. This was also one of my wounds, probably even more so than being publicly attacked. I thought, because my emotional needs weren't met growing up, I didn't think I mattered. So I didn't think what I had to say really mattered, but deep down I knew that I had a lot to say. And so it kind of became this dance of which wolf do you feed? Which voice do you feed? So one of the things I'm really, really passionate and excited, and I want to share it from the rooftops, is learning how to trust yourself again, trust your intuition, detach your self-worth from what other people think, so that if someone leaves a negative comment, it does not faze you. And this comes down to really taking radical self-responsibility, tapping into your shadow side, knowing your strengths and weaknesses, right? This is why branding, it's a holistic approach. It's the more you know you, the more you can confidently show up. The more you get to the root, the weed, you pull out those weeds, the more you can blossom and bloom as the flower you are. How's that for an analogy? So we really dive into getting to know yourself, the essence of you, how you want to show up. We take it a step further and we dive into your story. What is your story? How does your story showcase that you are the expert? You are the go-to person, that you've been there and you understand. How can we really tap into the white hot truth of your message. You know, whatever it may be, you might have a controversial style, you might not. We're going to awaken that voice and figure out what your communication style is. And then we take it a step further and we show up on camera like this. We really get to speak it, and we work on the psychology of the voice, how to captivate an audience, how to, you know, I like to say, kind of like seduce the camera lens, like really draw people in and cultivate and build that connection with people, which on camera is, you know, it's a different, it's different than when you're in person. So all of these things, they're learned techniques. I love doing this. I've mastered it myself. You'll hear more about my story in the up and coming days. And yeah, I invite you to join my free Facebook group to stay connected in the meantime. And if you want to dive in right away and you want to learn, well, Brittany, how can I work with you one-on-one right away? Just send me an email, let me know, and we can have a complimentary soul chat and just kind of explore. Thank you so much for signing up, for your interest. I can't wait to learn more about you and hear your story. In the meantime, check your inbox because you will be receiving a welcome email from me. Bisous from Paris. Ciao.